All right. Greetings and welcome.
Oh, I guess that's the beginning of our show today on Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Blake Walley, thenextlevelnews.com, and on X at TV's Blake Walley. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing pretty good, Brian. Great to be here.
Great to have you, sir. Great to have you. Thank you, everybody.
Is your camera smudge there or something? It looks a little cloudy there.
I don't know.
Like you're inside of an old broadcasting inside of an old fish tank or something.
I don't know. I think I'm getting a little glare from something also. And I am inside of a fish tank. No, it is weird. I see what you're saying. I don't know why. Is it just the glare? I mean, it's clear on the thing. There we go. Anyway, thanks for joining us today on the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media, because the old American Media has failed.
It looks perfect. All right, yeah.
That is better. Thank you for that. All right. I always appreciate it. And I should have the snowball microphone working. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah.
So that should be good. All right. So today we're going to jump into the news. We're going to keep it chugging along in a nice and prompt way like Blake likes. So some of the topics we are going to cover, I guess Blake just doubled my stack. I don't know what some of these are, but I'll give you the highlights. We're going to talk about Texas and Governor Greg Abbott. Does he have every right to double down on border security? Also, we're going to talk about Kari Lake. Has she now become legendary by exposing the swamp? BlackRock Managing Director Abigail Gold-Geller. What in the world is Crowder exposing? Is it true? Is it false? I don't know. I'm not making the accusation. I'm reporting on what Crowder's reporting on. But holy crap, if any of this is true, it's the whole system is rotten to the core. Maybe today's topic should just be America needs an enema. Honestly, like, I don't know anything that shouldn't be flushed out of this country. Like, everything needs to be flushed. Remember, Tool had that song Anima. It was part anima, part enema. I want to see it come down, suck it down, flush it down. It was about the pole shifts and water becoming land, land becoming water, and just cleansing everything with one burst.
Coming in about 20 years, Brian. It's on its way.
Hey, all right.
Don't want to get all black-pilled or anything, but
it's a high elevation then. Till you reach the higher ground. Okay, we're also going to talk about mainstream media. Do they deserve this destruction they are reaping? Yes, Blake got a haircut. Thanks for noticing, Jocelyn. Blake, because they had a big haircut day, so I had to do all the pre-production. Oh, look, here's Blake went in and handed him a picture of this and said, "Give me the what's this guy's name? Give me the."
I said I wanted something maybe a little shorter than last time, and then she goes, "Hey, I think we should do this," and she gives me the Brendan Fraser of the Mummy, and I was like, "All right, yeah, why not? Let's try it. It'll grow back, right?"
Is that how hair works? I don't remember.
Yeah, well, you never grow yours out, do you?
Oh man, I had it down to my shoulders at one point. My ex-father-in-law, he went bald, and he goes, if I would have known I was going to go bald, I would have grown my hair to my ass. I just like that line just like echoes in my head. It's just kind of funny. We're also going to talk about despite Google censorship, what are we to make of an election expert hacking into the Dominion voting systems in court? By the way, remember these people, they go, nothing's been proven. Nothing's been proven. There's nothing in court. The courts have ruled. Like they have this thing. If they just repeat it enough, if I say insurrection 1,000 times, people will think there was an insurrection where all of the Republicans showed up unarmed to overthrow the country. Yeah, sure. If I say insurrection 1,000 times, they'll think there was an insurrection. So there's no proof. There's no court proof. There's no court evidence. No court has ever proven that any of the voting systems can. Wrong. So we're going to discuss this case in Georgia. God, I felt like I was entering into Bill Burr territory. Anyway, we're also going to discuss Jon Stewart territory. Speaking of comedians, will he resurrect the dying Daily Show? Man, I did not like the Trevor Noah choice. It's such a bland. Well, anyway, we'll talk about it. They've been on the steady decline ever since. Also, we're going to talk about that Nimrata Nikki Haley, who wants you to use her real name, but she doesn't use hers. We're going to talk about her saying, actually, people saying that she should be banned from the Make America Great Again movement. Should she be out of MAGA, or will she be able to coalesce and blend back in like Vivek has? Like who else has Ronnie D has blended back into the movement. I guess Chris Christie hasn't. I don't think Pence has. No. But But Nikki Haley, is she going to be on the outs? It seems like she's trying something, hoping. We'll talk about it. Also, should it be illegal to share vulgar AI memes? If by vulgar, I hope you mean naked.
Taylor
Swift. We'll discuss that. Let's maybe not show the pictures.
That was trending. Well, yeah, we're going to show the pictures, and not all the super X-rated ones. They actually removed the Twitter profile that was the account that was sharing some of the really more graphic Taylor Swift AI pics. But that was trending, Brian. I'm surprised you missed that.
I did a search and it showed me nothing. I typed in what you wanted.
They probably removed it. Yeah, they got mad. So yeah, I guess we can have the agree to disagree question on that very subject. Should you be allowed to share vulgar AI memes of Taylor Swift or whoever?
Well, I'll tell you what. You can share anything on today's show, but it does need to be censored. I don't want to see any labia. I don't want to see any nips.
It's not. Oh my God! You think I would show it's not?
I don't know.
Yeah, I show a close up of her labia. Yeah, come on now, give me. Oh, I didn't know you couldn't show that. Well, you can show it on Twitter, I suppose, but
Twitter's a cesspool. Actually, they cleaned up so much when Elon took over. But anyway, I digress. We're going to discuss these topics and more on today's episode of the Agree to Disagree Show. Make sure you're following the Agree to Disagree Show and the New American Media on all the friggin' platforms, including Rumble, Spotify, the podcast, the Agree to Disagree Show, Telegram, it's TNAM and TNAM Chat. On X, we're at American_media_. On Facebook, it's TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. On Instagram, it's The New American Media. Let's just start there, shall we? I took that off the screen, Blake, because I'm trying to do the next. I double-clicked it. Did it stick? Who knows? We need Jamie running the control pad. Oh, my gosh. Blake, no more comments for a second. I'm trying to run the stinger and launch the show and put the first thing up there, and you keep getting in my way. All right.
Okay, go for it. It's all yours.
Let me take define vulgar off the screen again, because I'm going to jump to the first topic. Unless you throw another one up there. Okay, I digress. Welcome to the inner workings of the program. And we are going to start that program right about... Oh, my God, all the video clips have changed. What are all these now? Oh, you put new ones in. We can have more video.
You take those out. You're going to get distracted. Brian's easily distracted. Let me pull default graphics.
No, I got it. Oh.
I have the little castle pick in the kind of reminds me of the Mummy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
The endless corridor, the castle corridor. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, it reminds me of those do you remember those Commodore 64 games that you'd play? Like you press the up button and you'd be walking through the corridors and there'd be lanterns on the wall and you'd have text and you'd have to answer these. That's what this reminds me of a little bit. And yes, I am easily distracted, but Blake, 3 times I clicked out of the comment that was at the bottom because I was leading into the first topic. And every time I went to go to the video clip, it kept adding something else and I had to keep going back. So that part right there wasn't me getting distracted. That was my inability to do the thing I was trying to do because you were doing something else. But it's okay. Let's talk about topic number 1. Blake, agree or disagree that Texas Governor Greg Abbott has every right to double down on border security, despite whatever the Supreme Court is cranking out?
Yeah, I would agree. He should know he's right on the border of a foreign country and they're being invaded. And the federal government is not doing their job. They're not doing anything. In fact, they're making it more difficult. And it's been too much, and they're finally having to stop it. Governor Abbott has been fighting back, and they've been kind of building their own wall or building their own security. He's called Texas National Guard. He did run the great publicity stunt of busing these illegal immigrants to sanctuary cities. And it's exposing the hypocrisy by the left and also, bringing awareness to what is going on down there. The border's out of control. Federal government is gone. The administration doesn't seem to care. And yes, this threatens us all. So good on him and good on Texas. And it's going to be, I don't want to say a civil war, but there's going to be a big battle that's brewing right now already between the Fed and the states. So very exciting stuff.
Yeah, and it's not much of a battle if you ask me, and nobody did, but I don't see how there's anything to battle about. It's very simple. And let me just walk you through this. Jenny S. Taylor here. She put out on X. She says, new Texas Governor Greg Abbott has doubled down on his border dispute with Biden, saying the state has a constitutional right to secure the border. Quote, the failure of the Biden administration to fulfill the duties imposed by Article 4, Section 4 has triggered Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3. Now, that's interesting because the Supreme Court saying that the feds have a right to come down and remove border, like there's no precedent for that. There's, especially when you are derelict in duty, and that's exactly what's going on. There's a dereliction of duty here. There is an intentional effort to subjugate the rule of law and to allow illegal immigration into the country, which is a violation of the law. So what they're saying here is that Article 4, Section 4 has now triggered a second portion, which is Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3. And that reserves to this state the right of self-defense. So there you go. For these reasons, he says, I have already declared an invasion under Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 to invoke Texas's constitutional authority to defend and protect itself. That authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. The Texas National Guard, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and other Texas personnel are acting on that authority, as well as state law to secure the Texas border. I probably will read the rest of this just kind of verbatim to kind of go through the highlights. Blake, any particular thoughts on that first part?
Well, I'm not enough of a legal expert to say what it means, but it seems I'm a believer in common law and common sense and the Constitution. I can't imagine our forefathers would want this to be happening either. So yeah, I'm all on board with the state's rights here, and they're pretty much the first line of defense, and so they should have every right. It's right on their backyard, and the federal government is, again, derelict of duty. What are they doing? And there's no explanation whatsoever.
Right. So, yeah. So let me just read this briefing. I'll skim over it or skip past it once I find where it doubled up. They kind of quoted in highlights. Yeah. But, from the top here, this is from yesterday, January 24 of 24. From the state of Texas, Governor Greg Abbott. It says, the federal government has broken the compact between the United States and the states. God, as I'm reading this, Blake, my skin is almost crawling. You read these when in the course of human events, and you start reading through the preamble to the Constitution, you start reading the governing documents about, when a government betrays its bonds, when a government starts working against the people, you have a right to throw off the shackles of that government. Like just reading that first sentence, it was almost like I was having some.
Yeah, that's good. This is a monumental, happening right here. So this could be it, the beginnings of a new kind of revolution, and it's going to be pitting, certain sovereign states versus the federal government, which has gone out of control and maybe compromised.
Yeah, let me just, now that I got that flashback, let me just flash back to this part here, since we're talking about flashpoints. This is from the Declaration of Independence in Congress, July 4, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them the separation. I mean, I'm getting the same exact vibes here. It continues, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men were created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. My God, safety being number one concern here. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be charged for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms of to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, perusing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Britain is a repeated injuries and usurpations, blah, 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 blah. So I just got these exact same vibes reading this. It's just the first thought I had, but let me continue from the article here.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just didn't know how long you were going to read the entire thing or anything.
No, not the whole thing. Just so the beginning here, the federal government has broken the compact between the United States and the states. The executive branch of the United States has a constitutional duty to enforce federal laws protecting states, including immigration laws on the books right now. President Biden has refused to enforce those laws and has even violated them. The result is that he has smashed records for illegal immigration. Despite having been put on notice in a series of letters, one of which I delivered to him by hand, President Biden has ignored Texas's demands that he perform his constitutional duties. Bullet point 1, President Biden has violated his oath to faithfully execute immigration laws enacted by Congress. Instead of prosecuting immigrants for the federal crime of illegal entry, President Biden has sent his lawyers into federal courts to sue Texas for taking action to secure the border. Bullet point 2. President Biden has instructed his agencies to ignore federal statutes that mandate the detention of illegal immigrants. The effect is to illegally allow their en masse parole into the United States. Bullet point 3. By wasting taxpayer dollars to tear open Texas's border security infrastructure, President Biden has enticed illegal immigrants away from the 28 legal entry points along this state's southern border, bridges where nobody drowns, and into the dangerous waters of the Rio Grande. Under President Biden's lawless border policies, more than 6 million illegal immigrants have crossed into our southern border in just 3 years. That is more than the population of 33 different states in this country. This illegal refusal to protect the states has inflicted unprecedented harm on the people all across the United States. James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and the other visionaries who wrote the U.S. Constitution foresaw that states should not be left to the mercy of a lawless president who does nothing to stop external threats, like cartels smuggling millions of illegal immigrants across the border. That is why the framers included both Article 4, Section 4, which promises that the federal government shall protect each state against invasion, and then Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, acknowledging states' sovereign interest in protecting their borders. And then that's Arizona v. United States. The failure of the Biden administration to do this, the duties imposed, has triggered Article 1, Section 3, Clause 10, reserving the state the right of self-defense. And for these reasons, I've already declared their invasion to invoke Texas's authority to defend and protect itself. The authority is supreme law of the land, as they said, blah, 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 acting upon authority as well as the state border. Greg Abbott, governor of Texas. Blake, this is serious stuff. Yeah. I can't recall a time that we have had a battle like this. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Bundy Ranch when the feds of BLM showed up and it was a battle of the people and a battle with the feds. This is a next level feeling of that. What's like, how do you kind of sift through this stuff, and What do you make of it?
It's about time. They've pushed and pushed. They've done everything they can. They've tried to do it the easy way, and like I said, bust them around to these other places. Kind of just showed what a joke this whole thing was, and it's got national exposure on that level. Even some of the big cities like New York and Chicago are seeing firsthand what it is when they're being overwhelmed by these swarms of immigrants. We can't take care of them all. It's hurting everybody, and it's endangering. We don't know who a lot of these people are, and we're giving them tons of money. And it doesn't even include all the people that are being flown in the middle of the night. People coming in over different states. But Texas has had enough. They're just being trampled over, and after a few years, they can't take anymore. It's like we try to do it the nice way, and they keep putting the pressure on, and finally, it's enough. Probably the same thing with their forefathers. They're sick of dealing with the crown 3,000 miles away and having to pay more and more taxes. And they're finally like, no, we're our own colonies. We're our own country. We don't need you anymore. So this is, going to be the big pushback. And there's other governors on board with this. And I think you're going to see a bigger push now for states' rights over the Fed. And we'll see how this develops. But I don't know how the Biden administration is going to continue to fight this battle.
And for what purpose are they fighting it, Blake? Take it one step further. For what friggin' reason could they possibly be invading this country? It's an invasion. This is not, there's high numbers. There's quite a few. This is an invasion of a country. This is, and I've said this before, Blake, it's like when we make a martini. Maybe you put a little dry vermouth around the edge of a martini glass, you rinse it and you shake it out just so you have the hint. You have a hint of immigration in your country. And then you put in there, you have your gin, you shake it up, or your vodka, you pour it in, you strain it over ice, shaken, not stirred, whatever you want. But you have the hint of vermouth. You don't pour a couple jiggers, 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounces of vermouth in with half an ounce of vodka. You don't
dump martini. Yeah.
Which one? Would you like gin or vodka martinis?
Neither, but I mean, I think there's like a Vesper martini where they do use a lot of vermouth, but side issue. Yeah, I get the point.
It's great. Immigration is a controlled, legal, strategic immigration from people that have something to offer. To give us your tired, your weak. That's a French. They put up the Statue of Liberty over there. Like that's the French saying something. That doesn't mean we have to do that. Like you let people in based on merit, and you got to double check their background to make sure that they don't have provable ties. That's the other thing I wanted to do. I wanted to show that picture, that video of that guy saying, "You're going to know who I am real soon." And it seems like the internet has discovered that this is a Guantanamo Bay resident of the past 13 years and clearly making threats. How many terrorist cells are active in the United States just waiting to pounce? Blake's pulling an article up here. What do you got?
Yeah, I can just pop up a couple things. I don't really think there's anything more to add here. It's just out of the Federalist website. Texas isn't ignoring the Supreme Court. It's upholding the law. They've got Governor Abbott is right. Texas has the right to defend itself and secure its border. It certainly should. Interesting tweet here from Luke Rudkowski. It's beginning, and maybe these are all the different states that are going to be involved in this or signing up with Texas, but I don't think it's entirely accurate. The next person is saying you're missing some. I was looking, Brian, Tennessee's not on there. Tennessee's on this one. I don't know. Kentucky. I thought Kentucky was fairly Southern conservative, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't even know. Is Kentucky considered it was kind of considered at the South, but it's actually kind of right in the middle there, right underneath Ohio. I don't know, but you're going to see the different states pushing back. And hey, if these other states here want illegal immigrants, then if they could take them, the sanctuaries, fine, let them have them. But these are the red states here that's saying enough's enough. I think then we have to respect their wishes. So, federal government is out of control, and now it's time to make a move.
The only thing is, sanctuary cities, let them. No, I don't think we should let them. I don't think that's something that a state has the right to do. I don't think they should be able to receive any federal funds. These are places that are trying to replenish the millions of people who have fled poorly mismanaged blue cities and blue states to flee their totalitarian nightmare landscape, to get out of there. Now they're going to lose people when they do the next census for congressional representation. They're going to lose seats. You do not allow them to flood illegal aliens who have not been vetted, who, for all the reasons, you don't allow people to just jump into the country like that. And I think that has to be stopped. There is no, oh, they're a sanctuary state, let's flood them. Look, I get what DeSantis did. I get what Abbott did. I get why they did it. But they're also getting exactly what they wanted. Millions of people fled San Francisco and Los Angeles. Now they're dumping all these people from God knows where with God knows what intentions. Say, nope, look, our population is still the same. It's like, well, yeah, you filled it up with things. These aren't citizens. They don't count in a census. These aren't, so I would just push back on that a little bit as far as, let them do what they're going to do. Let me show you this. Oh, it didn't pull up. What happened?
That's done.
Took my other article out.
It.
Oh, good Lord.
Okay. Oh, my goodness, Brian. Just kidding. It's all good.
All right. I will pull it up now. By the way, oh, yeah, we're also on Patreon if you go to the New American Media. I would love to have an actual producer that could have all these articles ready to go. We do an okay job doing
Brian's doing it for the first time because I was busy. I was getting my hair cut today. I had to go to lunch, so I didn't have time to set up the show and the articles and have everything ready to go. This was Brian.
But to be fair, I run all of the stingers and the captions and the right. I do the article. We both share the video clips and do that at the same time, and that's the part that throws me off when I know what I want and I just can't grab it. But anyway, here's the video I wanted to show you. This is we mentioned it on Tuesday's show, and I just want to give this to you now.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough.
If you were smart enough, you would know who I am, but you are not smart enough. This is a confrontation with this guy down at the southern border.
To know who I am. But soon you're going to know who I am.
But soon you're going to know who I am.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
Believe me, I'm much better than that.
The entitlement, guys. Wow.
Soon.
We will see. We will see. And it's this type of citizen journalism that is so fantastic. But here's who this guy is. Doggone it. Guantanamo Bay guy is what I'm searching. Make sure you're following Blake. He's at TV's Blake Walley. And make sure you're following the New American Media at American_media_. Where's the video of this guy? Can't find him. Never mind. Just look online.
He's radical Islamist from Azerbaijan or something like that, if I recall.
Yeah, a terrorist leader who spent 13 years in Guantanamo Bay. Maybe these are unconfirmed reports. Maybe it's a guy that looks like him and perhaps not that guy. But every picture I saw looks exactly like the guy.
He seemed pretty cocky, confident, so I would assume that's him. Seems to
13 years in the gulag. Yeah, you're gonna know who I am real soon. These are the unvetted people that we're allowing into the United States. For the love of God, makes no sense at all. Okay, so anyway, that's why it's important to pay attention to the border. Anything else to add to that, Blake?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So yeah, we'll know his name again once he gets locked up for whatever he's about to do.
Yeah, I know. Lord help us all. Yeah, I'm gonna fire Jamie Dreamer. I really am. I'm gonna write him a nice stiff letter. We're gonna have a talk after today's show. Okay, next topic.
Yeah.
All right, Blake, agree or disagree that Kari Lake has become a legend by exposing DC bribery? Agree or disagree? Kari Lake has become a legend by exposing DC bribery. What say you?
Yeah, I guess she's already been a legend to me anyway. I think we misspelled Kari. I think it's Kari, but no worries. Minor misspell, but yeah, she's awesome. And I guess she was recording a phone call with the GOP chair, DeWitt, in Arizona, and we weren't 100% sure if that was actually real, because people think that sometimes it's maybe AI or what have you, but it was a extensive phone call, and then DeWitt resigned the next day, so it was legit. And that's kind of the thing that we've always kind of long suspected, but now we're actually getting to hear it for ourselves, is that there's big money interests that want to control everything and control who the politicians are, control our reality. It benefits themselves. And she has a lot of and he brags about how there's a lot of, well, I don't want to say brag, but he's just saying, hey, this is how things basically work. And very powerful people out there who have probably enriched themselves with ill-gotten gains over the years, corrupted the country, and they want to keep things that way. And they don't want Kari Lake in the way. They don't want people like her, more populists, in office. That threatens their schemes. And so they would like to sit out for a couple years and wondering how much that might cost. So, it's fairly friendly, but yeah, these people mean business. They'd like to just be friendly and say, here, we got plenty of money. Here you go. Take some. We'll offer you a job. Sit out a couple years and just play ball, and you'll be all right. But yeah, she is not. She is standing up, and she is prepared to, put everything on the line, all in. And that's the American spirit we need, or we have no country back.
Fact. So, exactly. And I do want to sit through and play this, because there's so many takeaways of how this story unpacks. We'll just play some of it, maybe pause to give occasional comment. But as I've listened to it over the past couple days, and it's because I've heard the 30-second clip, this part, that part. I think all of it is super relevant. So let's just go ahead and press play so you can kind of hear how this guy bribing Kari Lake, how the whole thing goes down. And by the way, Kari Lake, she referenced this a long time ago, but she's been holding on to it. And they say that the reason this guy stepped down right now is because she has even more damning information on it. But here we go. Here's some of the audio.
Is there a number at which
I can be bought?
Not be bought.
That's what it's about.
Is there a number at which I can be bought?
Pause for a couple of years.
No.
You go right back to what we're doing.
No.
Can you pause for a couple of years? No.
10 million, 20 million, 30, no. $1 billion, no. This is not about money. This is about our country.
Like, listening to this, did this maybe bump her up higher on your vice president list? Or now it's like you need the big double-barreled middle finger. She needs to win this spot because so many people don't want her in this spot so much. What say you?
Well, I think she was already in my top two. It's Vivek and Lake. Lake and Vivek. Maybe Blake.
That's a good ticket. Yeah.
Anyway.
Blake and Lake and Vivek.
Right. So I don't know.
Okay, so she was high on your list.
Yeah, she was already there. Now she's even elevated further. She's pure. She's the real deal.
This is such an she is so good on camera. She's so good with how she stands up. We'll let it continue here.
I think it's disturbing that they would that anybody would think this is.
No, to be fair, even me, I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now, for the reason that I've never seen anyone, I can't think of a single person in the federal race who lost, ran in and won. I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I'm not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should.
That is such a good line. I'm not going to let these people who hate our effing country tell me to not run, Blake.
Yeah, it's time to root these people out. They need to... They've gotten too powerful. They have too much money. They're throwing it around. They're controlling our future, basically. Runs through these assholes. No, they need to be exposed. They need to get the hell out of this country or face consequences. Jail or worse.
Oh, or worse. This is treason. Yeah. This is just so dirty. Dreamer says it cannot be overstated how damning this audio evidence is. Where is the lamestream media on this? Get this guy into witness protection now. Got to trace this back. Exactly. We demand to know who, well, he says powerful interests back east. But who? Who is this? Is this Mitch McConnell?
Yeah.
Kentucky's east. Is this McConnell? Is this somebody in D.C.? Is it the Democrats are going to pay the Republicans to stand out? Is it Mitt Romney in D.C.? Like, who in D.C.? He just says east. East could be a lot of things. But, I mean, D.C. is on the water, so, like, on the swamp. So let's just assume maybe it's D.C. We want names. Good point, Dreamer. Let's continue this. We'll repeat this last line that's so epic.
If you can think of it, let me know.
I am not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me.
You should call them and tell them to get behind me.
So what's going on? What is, I'm assuming this is our friend.
See, and she protects this person by calling him our friend. But like these reports are saying, she has more data. She has more recording. She has more audio, Blake. So when she says, I'm assuming this is our friend, she seems to know exactly where it's coming from. Are you getting that same vibe?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
This is back east.
Back east.
There are very powerful people that want to keep you out.
I know they do.
But they're willing to put their money where their mouth is in a big way. So this conversation never happened.
So they're willing to put their money where their mouth is in a very big way. So this conversation never happened. Oh my God, this slime ball.
This is crazy though. They should want me.
They should want her.
I'm a great candidate. People love me.
I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And doggone it, people like me. What's that from, Blake?
Yeah. Stuart Smalley.
Yes.
These people are corrupt.
Well, maybe you're right.
These people are corrupt. Well, maybe you're right. What a slime ball.
They are right. They are corrupt.
Maybe. This is rap. Don't go. Do you ever though? I'll get myself in trouble.
Yeah, you did get yourself.
If you say no, which is fine. It's your choice. Don't tell people.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
Okay, it's fine if you say no, but don't tell people. Oh, this guy! I love that he's getting exposed.
What do you mean? Yeah, well, it's not. He's not even seemed that bad. I'm sure it's a lot worse in other spots. This is just the one thing that we've actually gotten to hear with people that are actually reasonably friendly. But he knows how the game works, and so does she. We know, Brian. I can't prove it, but now I certainly could. This is how the game actually works from behind the scenes. People have no idea. How do people get into the office? It's not the way they think it is. How does the star actress or actor get the big part in the big Hollywood movie?
Weinstein.
Yeah.
Casting couch. Yeah, you and I know how this works, but I guess this is red pilling a lot of normies. I guess there's a lot of people that maybe just don't pay
hopelessly
attention.
Naive. Oh no, it's not like that. They love to feel like powerful by thinking, oh, they're just all stupid and they don't understand. No, they're not stupid. You're stupid because you don't realize how corrupt things are.
Exactly. All right, let's continue here.
This, if you say no, which is fine. It's your choice. Don't tell people.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
Blake, she comes right out and says they're going to try to have me murdered.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they will. And of course, that's the next step. I mean, it's first like, hey, you want to take 10 million? We'll offer you a nice job. You can sit out for a couple of years. Everything's great. And if you don't play ball, then maybe something bad happens. And no one's going to care. The press ain't going to cover it.
Where does the Epstein phase? There's 3 phases. It's the bribe. We're going to make you an offer you can't refuse kind of thing. Maybe you wake up with a horse's head in your bed, like in Godfather, or maybe you start accepting money and then you accept a bunch of money and then there you are, they got you. You nibbled at the hook a couple times and you got caught. Where does the Epstein, like in what order does the Epstein Mossad Israeli intelligence blackmail thing come in? Where does that, because is that after the bribe? After the bribe is not accepted, or once the bribe is accepted? Or it's just it's part 1A and 1B, and then it moves to part 2 where the threat comes in. Because it's bribe, blackmail, and threat. It's a trifecta of control here.
Right. Yeah. Whatever way they can get you. I mean, I'm sure they'd probably prefer to have you blackmailed, because it's really easy to control people if they do that, and probably you won't have to pay them as much either. But something like that, if you get somebody who's pure like Kari Lake, you could probably buy a lot of people off. Because, yeah, what if she said $20 million? I'm sure that would happen. And it'd be great. And then it would be a win-win. And we never know. We just be like, well, Kari Lake got a big job and she's gone. Well, good for her. Congratulations. We wouldn't know.
And you know how it works, Blake. You do the Hunter Biden thing. Oh, look, Kari Lake, she's decided to step away from the cesspool of politics for a little bit, and she's focusing on her art. She's always been an avid painter, and look, now she's selling her artwork for hundreds of thousands of dollars. She's made $33 million on her last tax bracket, showing that art sales, and it's all just funneling money, Blake. Or she sits on the board with, let's imagine Nimrod and Nikki Haley. She sits on the board of Raytheon or Boeing or, pick your Fortune 500 war manufacturing company. Oh, well, she's just going to serve on the boards of directors. Or better yet, Blake, she wrote a book deal. She's published her memoirs. And so what they do is XYZ money laundering, Random House or pick your random book publishing company. Then they sell millions of copies to somebody who's laundering through the purchase of those so that she gets all her money up front. You clean it, you wash it like out of Breaking Bad. And then you say, no, look, I sold 17 million copies of my book. I'm an inspirational character. Well, yeah, it's the same money launderers who bought the books. The books could be sitting in a warehouse or dumped into the East River. It doesn't matter. It's not that the book sold. It's that she got her money up front as a signing bonus. You've seen it with Hillary. You've seen it with Clinton. You've seen it with Obama. You've seen it with the Bushes. We've seen this and we know this. And when someone steps out of the limelight, you have to wonder, did this scumbag show up in the middle of the night like the Tooth Fairy trying to make her an offer? I don't know. Well, anyway, she says they're going to try to have me murdered. Let's continue on that point.
Today's world, man. If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, man. Right?
If that stuff that came out about the cartel last week, and he continues, they said the cartels are operating in 50 states right now.
They said the cartel's operating in 50 states right now. Like all 50. You know? So
what's going on? Who is it? What?
Blake, cartels in 50 states. That's what they keep saying. The woman that stole or allegedly won, go to CISA.gov/rumor control for their countervailing view to say that was a completely fair election in Arizona. What's that lady's name? Katie Hobbs. They say that she's a cartel asset.
Cartel Katie, yeah. They say the entire city of Mesa is completely run by the cartels. Arizona is absolutely infiltrated with the Sinaloa cartel, and so they probably have politicians bought and paid for it, and including Katie. And there was a lady that went out and exposed that in front of a judge, and there's never been a follow-up since. There's just way too much money there. So they got to shut the border down, legalize drugs, take the power away from these cartels. Otherwise, we're just being their money. So this is how a country falls.
Exactly. Well, let's continue this here.
Yeah. Forget the who.
Forget the who. Let me just tell you the what.
Let's just say there are people calling around saying, gosh, no, they can't repeat this. Never repeat this. If you say no, don't. Because say, I got offered to buy out. Don't. Because we lose our ability to get things done.
Don't tell people you got an offer to buy out because I lose my ability to get things done. Slimeball.
Well, at least he's being honest about it. I'm sure this guy is a lot better than 90% of the people that you could be talking to, who are just going to be like, listen, fucker, this is how it goes. You either take our deal or your family's dead. So he's at least trying to be a reasonable guy. So I got to respect him on one level. I get it.
Yeah, but out of the other side of the mouth, he just kind of drops in there about cartels operating in 50 states. I
don't know if he even knew about it, but that's how bad is that?
What was his position exactly? He was the head of the Republican
GOP chairman,
the GOP chair of Arizona.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
We need to know who these people back east are. Okay, let's continue. He goes, here's my problem.
Cartels, yeah.
More than just say, let's work with her. She's a great candidate. Because they don't own me. And it pisses me off.
Yeah, I said it was about ownership.
It's about control.
It's about control and ownership.
I know it's about control. It's about being on the team. I guess.
I don't know if it's about control. It's about being on the team.
You know what I mean?
They want to be on the team.
They want you to be on their team.
Yeah. See, I love how she spun it around. He's like, they want to be on the team. He goes, no. They want you to be on their team.
But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that.
No
So what do they
globalist
want?
agenda.
What do they want me to do?
You want me to stay out for 2 years.
So what do they want me to do, Blake? They're pushing a globalist agenda. I can't agree to that. So what do they want me to do? They want you to stay out for 2 years. Blake, I mean, that's taking her chess piece right off the chessboard right now at a time where we need our strongest players more than ever. If there's any hope of salvaging what the theoretical potential this country has had, if there's ever been a chance where everybody is needed, all hands on deck, it's right now. What about that? Sitting out for 2 years. You know, they make it seem so innocuous, like, hey, it's no big deal, but that's how they get you. Everything's just a slight compromise of where you're at, your morals, your values, your constitution, and what you're made up of. What do you think about that first offer to just sit it out for 2 years? It doesn't sound that bad, but it really is.
Yeah, if enough people, take those deals, yeah, it is bad. Then we don't have any good people in Congress to look out for the American people. And then the rest of the people have just gone to sleep. They have no idea how bad things really are. And next thing you know, we don't have a country. We're being invaded. We're being taken over by the globalists. They're going to vote the Constitution away, and the people have no idea. And they're just going to wake up, and yes, there's no more country anymore. It's not the same.
Right.
There's no more freedom of speech. No more Second Amendment, no Fourth Amendment, no 10th Amendment. I mean, it's just, you throw the Bill of Rights away and we'll never get it back again.
Yeah.
It'll be the Hunger Games society.
Yeah, I did just watch that whole series, all those movies. It was pretty good. Enjoyed it. Okay, continue here. Here's what I can offer you.
But I said you can do whatever she wants. Talking head, this and that. So
she can do whatever she wants. Maybe a talking head, something like that. So maybe she would sign with CNN or I'll bet you. Where's Fox based out of? New York?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually, you know what? That's my guess. Fox is so in on this. Fox is so in on all of just all of it.
Have they even talked about this story?
Has Fox talked about this?
Yeah.
I don't watch Fox. I have no idea. Have they?
I don't know. My dad watches Fox. He hasn't seen it, but I don't know if he's been watching it enough. But I was like, I don't think they'll even cover this story.
I'm okay. I think now that I'm watching this for the 6th time, and I'm kind of, we happen to be talking about it. I think this is Fox News to make her a talking head, because she would never take a job at CNN. Nobody would believe it.
No,
she could never work at MSNBC. Nobody would buy it. But her moving to Fox, oh, they would absolutely eat that up. Those idiot neocons that watch Fox like it's actual Republican content. I'll bet you back east is New York and Fox. I think they're located. They broadcast out of Manhattan, so that's my guess. That's my official guess. I think it's Fox in New York. Here, let me rewind this and just play this again. We'll try to get through this clip and move on.
But I said you can do whatever she wants. Talking head, this and that. So the ask of me was, it's kind of funny. So the ask I got today from back east was, here's the between us. Is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and give her?
There you go. The ask was, are there any companies out there that could just put her on the payroll to keep her out?
Keep her out. And I said, well, what are you willing to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
This is about defeating Trump. And I think that's a bad thing for our country.
Agreed.
DeSantis is not America first.
I mean, DeSantis, I got my problems with him. He's done a lot of good things, but it's not his time.
This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
I love Trump. I love Trump.
Oh, this guy claims to love Trump, but he's trying to take her off the board as one of his biggest supporters. Get out of here, Slimeball.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not. But at the same time,
he's so slimy. I love how he agrees. It's not. But at the same time, oh, it's just such used car dealership vibes.
I'm not even sure Trump can win.
Oh, there you go. He's not even sure Trump can win. Okay, of course. Yeah, because people like you are out there stabbing him in the back, you prick.
I don't know that he can win. I think what it really comes down to for a lot of people, it's not really about control or agenda. It's about the ability to raise money to win.
Raising money to win.
If you really want to know, all of politics boils down to money. I think. That was really good. And even on their end, what makes them the most money?
I know all these consultants don't want their payday.
What makes them the most money? And she says all these consultants don't want their payday to end.
And I don't want to make a deal with these kind of people. Lobbyists. This is a hill worth dying on.
This is a hill worth dying on, Kari.
I'm not. If they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go,
and it gets a little muffled here. She says, if they're going to steal the election and make me and our movement go away,
I'm not letting them do that.
I'm not letting them do that.
People of Arizona, or to carry their torch and their voice.
I owe it to the people of Arizona to carry their torch and their voice. Yeah, it got a little muffled there. This guy is so. I hate this guy so much. He goes, or you don't go away, but you pause.
Don't go away. But you pause.
This is the battles right now, Jeff.
Amen. Blake, she says, this is the battle right now, Jeff. This is it right now. You and I have talked how many times about this is it. This really is. We've never felt as the urgency that we felt like we do right now, that it's all slipping away. It can all be won. We can win in a landslide, but this is the time. Like we are on the verge of doing the Thelma and Louise jumping off of that cliff, right? This is the battle right now, Blake.
Yeah, it certainly is for the future of America. If we want to have the country that we know and love, or is it going to be taken over by the globalists?
Yeah, and then if America falls, where the hell are we going to flee to? So anyway, let's continue.
There isn't.
No, the battle is right now.
No, the battle is right now.
The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on the battlefield.
You're not.
It's kind of like Braveheart, too.
Did you say Braveheart?
Yeah, like Braveheart and Robert the Bruce and William Wallace, and they didn't want to get in the battle because they made deals with the English to get big estates. Duck out of the war, not put the cavalry in, and they lost that battle. I don't know, it was Dunkirk or something. Where William, they're waiting for the cavalry. They never came. Robert Bruce betrayed everybody. But but William Wallace is all in, man. They got to fight for their freedom, or there's going to be nothing left.
You're right, though. That it brings up, it's reminiscent of that, and we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
You're not. You can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
You can't scratch.
You don't have anything to offer them.
You don't have anything to offer them.
And they're sitting around people that have something to offer them.
And they're sitting around people who do have something to offer them.
Yeah, a bunch of money from ill-gotten gains. They're corrupt. They're criminals. They're kleptocracy. They've been stealing money from people forever, and now they're using it to amass power and corrupt everybody around them so that they can stay in their cushy little jobs. And it's disgusting. So they all need to be rooted out. We want names. These people have to be deported at a minimum. They need their money taken away, or fine, take their Federal Reserve money away. We'll do a different system here. Whatever it is, there's the easy way and the hard way. But they've had enough. They had a good run. Now it's time to go.
That was exactly the thought I was having, Blake. Is like all they're doing is trying to purchase your soul for pieces of paper. Whatever magic this is, whatever, like, to sell your soul for pieces of paper. I know it's just a tale as old as time. Paper represents power and control. And it's just so gross because it's so obvious what would help this country, and it's so obvious what harms this country. And you have people actively trying to subjugate, to try to torpedo the good things about America just because they want some money. They don't give a shit who they burn along the way. They don't care who they bury along the way. And if you don't have to be religious to at least understand that the soul is eternal in some sort of form, that this is some sort of civilization, some sort of simulation that puts you in situations and tests you, and that there's some sort of non-ambiguous moral code and moral law that you have to be a good person and to protect your community, protect your neighbors, your city, your state, your country. And the people that sell that out, I'm telling you, I believe those are the people that are doomed to hell, or whatever version of hell that non-believers believe in. Okay, let's just wrap this up here.
It's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club.
Okay, so maybe I'm sorry, but this maybe it's not New York because he specifically references DC. He says it's a back scratching club, and that's what DC is all about.
Well, Becky's can mean many things, but yeah, I definitely think of New York and DC as the top.
Yes, yeah, and right here he specifically says DC.
It's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position to scratch anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back.
You don't scratch people's backs? Oh, you're so full.
But how did he get to the GOP chair?
Yeah, how did he get to that position? Of course,
a lot of people for a long time. I don't scratch back.
He says he's been on the outs with a lot of people for a long time because he doesn't scratch backs. Well, if you're not scratching backs, you're holding your ankles. So whatever, pal.
Where are we in 2 years? If they steal the election
again?
Where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again, Blake?
Yeah, exactly. Now we have to bring up 2020 in Maricopa again because obviously this is just like, passe. They already know this. Yeah, they already do steal elections. So they're stealing it again. Oh, when was the first time? Was it 2020? Or was it just, the last one when she ran for governor against cartel Katie Hobbs? So either way, it seems like this has been going on a long time. Like it's nothing new. Nothing new under the Arizona sun. So yeah, we're sick of this stuff.
Dreamer adds in the comments here, make sure you're following us, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. He says, even dummies can understand and follow this one. He says, why is Trump not playing this at his rallies? Oh, I'll bet you he might.
Yeah, I bet he should now, or at least reference it. Yeah, because now we know. Can't put it back, and this was real. Otherwise, why did he stand down, resign?
And I'll tell you, Blake, talking about what happens in 2 years if they steal it again. If there is not a nationwide red tsunami to actually wipe out this corruption from the Democrat Party, and that's not to say that the rhinos, the Cheneys and Romneys and Bushes, all of these worst Republican rhino characters aren't part of it as well. But if these Democrats are not washed away in a massive tsunami.
Yeah, how'd that go? How'd that red tsunami go in Maricopa last time, Brian, when they just had problems with the machines, or they had different sized paper and the pens weren't working and people standing in line, they had to go, they weren't able to vote. It ain't going to work like that. They'll have mail, and they were running the ballots back and forth between Runbeck. They take all their ballots over there in Arizona. No, it was obvious that it was rigged. And then they had people caught on cameras in these facilities. You had that corrupt, I forget what that committee, the Maricopa Board of Supervisors or whatever. Everything about that whole county is corrupt, and it's going to go around the country as well. Similar situations. They might not have the run back and everything like that, but yeah, they got it totally rigged down there in Arizona. And he's basically admitting it. So they can check Siza. I don't care. But he just said, again, steal the election again. This has been happening. They know it's happening. We know there's no freaking way that Joe Biden won there in 2020. Absolutely impossible at GOP stronghold. And no way. And they did all kind of dirty trick imaginable to get cartel Katie to beat Kari Lake, who we knew was extremely popular down there. They thought she was going to win in a landslide. She was up by 11 points. Katie didn't even want to do the debates. Of course she didn't want to do the debates. She already knew she had it in the bag. So
reminds me of Joe Biden not campaigning. By the way, go to CISA.gov/rumor control because they want you to check out countervailing views and say that this was a pristine election. All of the ones that the Democrats win are pristine. They want you to check those countervailing views. Let's wrap up this clip and move along.
Where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying. Why don't we do something about it so that we the people can pick our...
What can we do?
What can we do? This guy, his quick response. Well, what can we do? I don't know. Everything, 100%.
Give us the names of these people
now. Give us the names now. Arrest this guy for campaign. I mean, I don't know what legal statutes, campaign finance violations, bribery, bribing an elected official. There's got to be a million things short of treason and sedition you could get this guy on. Arrest him and put him in protective custody immediately and get the names of where he's taking his marching orders.
Think about it so that we pick art.
What can we?
I'm not willing to accept that. And I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's. Go back and tell them that.
I'm going to be the biggest effing pain in these people's asses. You go back and tell them that. I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their ass.
And I'm going to be the biggest pain in their.
I mean, I'm willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
Oh, I want to cut that clip out and just play it in a hip hop song. I want to write a song about this and just have her say. I'm going to play that last line.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
I know. Look.
Atta girl, Kitty. Atta girl.
Cut it off where he was talking about how they're going to bomb his car or something.
There was more there.
Well, it's a longer clip. I think it's like a 9-minute clip, but yeah, he does mention that how his car is going to explode. Like he's Lefty Rosenthal or wasn't Ace Rothstein. That's right, Ace Rothstein in Casino.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. We got a few to get through, and here we go. All right. So this is one that Blake has asked me to drive. Actually, he's not aware of it being in the stack, so I won't ask him the agree to disagree question, but I will put it up on the screen and I will ask it and I will answer it. So agree or disagree. Did BlackRock managing director Abigail Goldgeller just get exposed for joining an online pedo network?
I saw that.
Oh, you did see this?
Was that,
you are aware
was that from Crowder? Which one was that?
Yeah,
it was like three bombshells. It's right. That one was Crowder's crack team or whatever exposed that. That was I think I retweeted it. I'm not. No, maybe I didn't. But I did see that because there was that one, and there was the James O'Keefe one, and then there's the Kari Lake one. Was there something else? It was just like holy shit. There's some huge bombshells.
What was the O'Keefe one?
He talked to some goofball in some congressional intern who was basically saying that's basically how things work in D.C. Blackmail, extortion schemes, getting leverage on people. And he was saying that Madison Cawthorn was not lying because he got basically
he was telling the truth.
Well, yeah, he
the
said
Eyes Wide Shut parties.
Yeah, the drug and orgy parties, and that's like the norm, and then they get leverage on you. He was saying that a lot of people that they're late for Congress because they're so hungover from the crazy parties they throw. So I mean, it must be fun, to be in Congress when it's this corrupt. But this is like the fall of Rome. So this is crazy.
So here's the question: did BlackRock director just get exposed? Now, I'm not going to agree. I'm not going to disagree. I'm going to tell you about the report that Steven Crowder is putting out, and I'm going to let them give you their report, and you can do with it what you will. And once again, and now I watched this whole program yesterday. I'm not sure if it's included in this 4-minute clip, but because if you can remember back to where Steven Crowder came from, yes, he's a Canadian comedian. What a weird phrase that is, Canadian comedian. But chameleon, Canadian comedian. But he also worked under Andrew Breitbart. And Breitbart taught him to always hold information back. Give them a taste and let them talk. Let them paint themselves into a corner with their lies and then get them with the rest. And that's why many people say that the Obamas and the deep state took Andrew Breitbart out. So let's play some of this here. This is Steven Crowder providing receipts. Let's play the clip.
I'm telling you, the allegation that my client has anything to do with a child exploitation or rapey.xu is false and defamatory.
So he's saying his client, it's all false and defamatory.
And I am advising you in the strongest possible terms not to publish such a thing.
On May 11, 2023, the Department of Justice issued a press release regarding 4 men who were sentenced for engaging in a child exploitation enterprise. The child exploitation enterprise being rapey.su, an open web platform operated by the late convicted felon Nathan Larson. Members of this website would share media of pedophilia, child rape, and even tried to arrange in-person meetups.
Blake, remember when they said the child abuse was not real?
Yeah.
This is a topic you're not even supposed to cover, but fuck it. Let's let it continue.
Well, yeah.
In 2023, cybersecurity professional Ryan Montgomery went public and discussed how he obtained user data from Nathan Larson's network. The data obtained by Montgomery revealed over 7,000 email addresses of individuals who became members of rapey.su.
Could you imagine 7,000 demons walking amongst us, Blake? 7,000 demons.
Yeah, I can believe it, and they need to be exposed. They need to be destroyed.
Yes,
it's just beyond disgusting. I can't believe these people are among us. They might be. I'm not a religious guy, but you know what? They might be demons. They're not humans.
Yeah, they're not human.
Very wrong with these people. They have no empathy. They're sick, and they need to be eliminated from society one way or another.
Yeah. So
and then probably executed. There's no rehabbing. There's no fixing these people. And if they are in high positions of power, then that's really scary stuff. So they need to all be rooted out.
And remember, if you ever see a flag that has a plus on it, the plus includes these people that abuse minors who do not have the ability to consent. Let's continue.
It's important to note that the application process contained questions such as, if a man wants to rape his 3-year-old daughter up every hole while she's crying and screaming, do you have a...
This shit is so difficult.
Well, if you say yes, you get promoted to high positions of power, man, because they can pull your strings. They'll do whatever you want.
To be clear, the only way for these thousands of users to have their email show up in the database, they or someone who breached their email account had to answer this question. The email address hero121@mail.com connected to the username Jackie222. It is
hero121@mail.com and Jackie222.
Worth noting that when investigating email addresses, they often connect to multiple individuals. However, this email address repeatedly linked back to the one name. More than 10 identity verification services strongly suggest that this email is only associated with one possible name. BlackRock Managing Director, Abigail Gold Geller.
Now, Blake, this is BlackRock. Now, I don't know if this is true, and I'm not alleging this to be true. I don't have my half-Asian lawyer like Steven Crowder does. I'm reporting on what Crowder's reporting on. You can do your own investigative research and continue to push forward here. But BlackRock seems to be behind some of the worst things happening on planet Earth, trying to buy up all the single-family homes, trying to push all the racist diversity, equity, inclusion stuff. Like, they are dividers and conquerors and consumers. And this is the managing director of BlackRock Alternative Specialists Group. I mean, are you surprised in any way?
No, I wouldn't be at the slightest. No, I'm surprised it's a female. Outside of that, no, nothing would shock me if it comes down to BlackRock and corruption at the highest levels. That's the kind of psychopaths they like to have up there.
I mean, hey, Ghislaine Maxwell was a female. Let's continue.
Director Abigail Gold Geller. To further corroborate our research, we decided to work with a private investigator to see if they would come up with a different conclusion. Using DelvePoint, a program that licensed private investigators use for their investigations, our private investigator obtained this comprehensive report, which contains a wealth of information regarding an Abigail S. Gold, which appears corroborated by these other background checks, including the hero121@mail.com was allegedly the email of Abigail Gold. This private investigator was even able to take it a step further using DelvePoint, showing the addresses the email was used at. From these findings, it shows hero121@mail.com was used 2 separate times by a person named Abigail Gold, as well as Gold Abigail, at a property she owns in New York City, lending more credibility that this could be Abigail's email and she was the one using it. Unfortunately, the report does not indicate when she used this email and for what purpose. What all 11 of these background checks strongly suggest is hero121 in fact belonged to an Abigail Gold Geller.
I have this tip that is claiming that your email is associated with this rapey website, and I'm just trying to figure out if this is bogus tip or...
Can I give you a call right back? I'll call you right back.
Okay.
Can I call you right back?
Yeah, sure.
Abigail Geller's lawyer, Jack Bauman, founder and managing partner of JFB Legal, had this to say regarding the allegations.
It's hero121@mail.com.
Okay, that is not her email address. It has never been her email address. the allegation that that is any way associated with her is absolutely false. I'm telling you, the allegation that my client has anything to do with a child exploitation, rapey.edu, is false and defamatory, and I am advising you in the strongest possible terms not to publish such a thing.
Help me out here. How can you say that's clearly not her email address, though? How do you know that? You just found out what the email address is, right?
You could go register for that email address today on mail.com. It is not.
That's interesting that he's such an expert on this immediately, this particular point.
Her email address.
And even more concerning, who signed up for this very specific email address on this obscure email service provider following the end of the phone call on the morning of September 28th, 2023, before Bauman sent the letter to us that same evening? Bauman himself admitted that you can go on today and sign up for that email address. Our team has since reached out to the Department of Justice's Eastern District in Virginia, the same office that sentenced the 4 men for engaging in the child exploitation enterprise, rapey.su. We provided both the username Jackie222 and the email hero121@mail.com to better assist their ongoing investigation.
And so, look, they're putting the receipts out there. I really appreciate. I know you're not a big fan of Steven Crowder, haven't been in the past, but
no, he's awful. But I mean, at least he's got a good staff. He's doing some good work. That's nothing to do with that. No, he's a total narcissist, total wacko. He's done a lot of bad things, but at least, hey, if he's doing some good things like this, that's good too. You got to praise him when he does right.
Yeah, Louder with Crowder, tips at protonmail.com if you have some information to send. It's, it can't just be James O'Keefe at the tip of the spear. You have to have room for multiple.
Narcissists are very effective at doing these kinds of things. They are very driven people that live for this kind of action. So, there's a positive side to that. So, all good.
All right. So yeah, a developing story. Yes, Dreamer. People are sickos. Absolutely. I hate covering stuff like this, but the only thing I hate more is allowing it to run rampant without taking a swing at it when you find it, and making sure that, doing everything that you can while you can. That's the whole point of this show. Do what you can as much as you can whenever you can. So anything to add on that, Blake? It's developing. We'll cover it as more information comes out. Like you said, he's holding a lot back. We'll see how it develops. But anything else to add before we move on?
No, that particular one. Yeah, we'll move on. It's interesting bombshell.
Okay. To be continued. Here we go. All right. Let's go to this one. If you can pull this up, Blake, I just put it there. Agree or disagree that... Hey, where'd it go? Despite Google censorship, election interference expert. Yeah, see, I put these together, and this is like a paragraph. So despite Google censorship, because I tried to search this on Google, they would not show me the story. I had to go to X to do the search, and boom, first story right up there, because it's exactly what I'm looking for. Everything I saw on Google, they tried to show you how Dominion wins a lawsuit and nothing's been proven in court. I went down the entire page. I clicked through everything. Anyway,
maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, even DuckDuckGo sucks these days. But despite Google's censorship, election expert has shown a judge in Georgia's court how to hack into Dominion voting system with a pen to change votes. Blake, have you followed this story?
Nope. This is news to me. But I did hear like a piece of it. I just wasn't quite sure. And I know they've exposed these things in court before. But I mean, that is it's good that they're actually seeing some of this evidence, and that can kind of maybe change their perception of these voting machines. I can't believe Dominion was able to, survive without really showing anything in the Arizona audit. And then they were able to make these huge lawsuits, and then, Fox News just caved to them. And I was like, come on. Like, if you just push back a little and make them prove that these things are safe, then that's cool, but I don't think they can. And now
so let me buzz through the article here. It says, by the way, this is from Gateway Pundit, and once again, I'm not making these allegations. Blake's not making these. We're reporting on a story the Gateway Pundit is reporting on. And by the way, it's a court case. You know, we just, what they do is lawfare. They just want to screw you over that way. So the update on this article says, after speaking with election integrity expert Garland Favorito, we discovered the courtroom display was much more serious than we originally reported. J. Alex Halderman, there's another scandalous name that comes up every few decades. That's from the Nixon one. J. Alex Halderman demonstrated in court how Dominion machines are hacked and their tabulations were altered. So in June of 2023, the Federal District Court for the Northern District of Georgia unsealed the 96-page Halderman report, the security analysis of Georgia's ImageCast X ballot marking devices. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, God, this guy comes back like a bad case of something over and over again. He's been hiding this report from the public for 2 years. What blackmail do they have on him is what I'm asking. University of Michigan professor of computer science and engineering J. Alex Halderman and security researcher and assistant professor at Auburn University Drew Swingle collaborated on the report where they discovered many exploitable vulnerabilities in the Dominion voter system's ImageCast X system. Far-left judge Amy Totenberg sealed and covered up the results of the investigation of Dominion voting machines in Georgia and sat on the report until this week. The report confirmed that votes can be altered in the Dominion voting machines. In fact, the report revealed that Dominion software is vulnerable and can be hacked. Following its release, Voter GA founder Garland Favorito joined Steve Bannon on the War Room to discuss the findings from the explosive report. Here's a copy of the report. I'm not going to read it all. Okay, how do I get to... Where's the rest? There we go. Professor Halderman wrote about his findings in a blog post on Wednesday. Back in September 2020, the court granted the curling plaintiffs access to one of Georgia's touchscreen ballot marking devices, BMDs, so that the weapons of mass destruction, ballots of mass destruction.
Okay, let's keep it quick, though, Brian, because I've only got about 15 minutes here. But
this is the most important story in the world, Blake. Do you want to skip past it or what?
No, go for it. Okay, I just want to make sure we're not going way off into the weeds here. You're not going to read the 2 pages of stuff.
I'm going to give a couple minutes to this. That is perhaps the most important story in the world. Okay, and we discovered vulnerabilities in nearly every part of the system. So this vulnerabilities in nearly every part of the system that's exposed to potential attackers. The most critical problem we found is an arbitrary code execution vulnerability that can be exploited to spread malware from a country's central election management system, EMS, to every BMD in the jurisdiction. This makes it possible to attack the BMDs at scale over a wide area without needing physical access to any of them. For the love of God, Blake, I don't know what screams we need same-day voting and paper ballots more than this. The article continues. Our report explains how attackers could exploit the flaws we found to change votes or potentially even affect election outcomes in Georgia, including how they could defeat the technical and procedural protections that the state has in place. While we're not aware of any evidence that the vulnerabilities have been exploited to change votes in the past elections, without more precautions and mitigations, there is a serious risk that they will be exploited in the future. After the release of the report, Professor Halderman tweeted that Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger would not install Dominion security patches before the 2024 election. He will not put patches in. Now this, on Friday, this is a week ago, in federal court in Atlanta, Georgia, J. Alex Halderman was able to hack a Dominion voting machine to change the tabulation in front of U.S. District Judge Amy Totenberg in the courtroom. And Halderman used only a pen to change the vote totals. Blake, for all the people saying there's no evidence, is this enough? Do you need more? What's your take on this?
No, I've always been skeptical of these machines. The Democrats were even skeptical of the machines years ago, but then they found a reason why if they controlled them, then maybe they could swing things in their favor. And then if they can have a pandemic and a reason for people not to or be able to vote by mail, then they can do that too. Or they're not clean up the voter rolls or whatever they can use to their advantage. Ends justify the means. So yes, as much as I'd love to see same-day voting and paper ballots, they certainly don't. And yes, Dominion needs to absolutely be scrutinized. I can't believe they were allowed to get away with these ridiculous lawsuits. I can't believe Fox News caved unless they wanted them to win. So it ensures that they, if people in the public think that these machines are great, then they'll keep using them. And so it's better for them in the long run to be able to control the outcome of every election.
Exactly. And by the way, here's another update on Gateway Pundit. The Bridgeport Democratic mayor has won his race after his associate is caught stuffing the local ballot drop boxes with bags of ballots. So, here you go again. Drop boxes and machines cannot be trusted. Just go ahead and go back to single day voting, signature verification, and paper ballots, please. That's my thought there. Okay, so let's keep following this. For the people that say there's no proof, there's no evidence, bullshit. Right there, Georgia, he used a pen and he hacked it right in front of you. So
that should have happened in every courtroom when they were saying, "Oh, the courts just threw it all out." Well, they didn't really hear anything. He didn't lose in court. They just didn't want to even take a look at the evidence. Because if you did take a look at the evidence, you'd probably find that there was some dirty stuff happening there. And there's a lot of corruption in every one of these states.
Oh, absolutely, Blake. Absolutely. Okay, then let's bounce to the next topic here. Keep it moving. Keep it frosty. Here we go. In theory, clicked the button 10 seconds ago. There we are. Let's go. All right, Blake, do you agree or disagree that where's the headline here? There we are. Okay, that mainstream media deserves the destruction that they are reaping. Blake, agree or disagree? Mainstream media, and I put mainstream media in air quotes because I never use that phrase. There's no such thing. It's lying legacy media.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, they're getting they're having a lot of layoffs, mass layoffs across many different outlets. So these legacy, they've been lying for long enough, and people are tuning them out. And it's kind of what worked against them by getting rid of Trump, because that was kind of how they were getting a lot of advertising and a lot of viewers, because people were like freaking out thinking Trump's the bad guy. So they were looking at these, resistance media. But now that they're just sitting here, trying to defend the Biden administration, they're lame, and these companies are losing money, and they're going to have to do these layoffs. And these people have no integrity. They're not out there, trying to tell the truth. But of course, if they're trying to tell the truth, then they wouldn't be allowed to work at these outlets anyway. And with the rise of AI, perhaps they are replaceable too.
So, that part too. Yeah, you remember that's what Sports Illustrated tried doing. They had some of their reports were written by AI, and you read them, and it was ridiculous. It was obviously not, but they were pretending it was a real human. So I mean, you're seeing a lot of this stuff happening, Blake. So of course, Time Magazine has made a bunch of layoffs recently. Los Angeles Times eliminated slightly more than 20% of their newsroom, and has Taylor Lorenz crying about it, which is hilarious because they're awful. Also, Sports Illustrated has essentially shuttered the doors. I mean, in a way, it's the end of the old guard of media. The death knell in a way. The brain is gone, but the body hasn't figured it out yet. Almost brain dead. But like the industry is failing, but it's not entirely failing. It's failing if you're putting out rubbish. It seems. I mean, I don't think every place is failing, but I think the new American media is rising. I think alternatives to the lying legacy media are definitely growing and thriving. And by the way, if you would like to support growing and thriving independent media, go to Patreon and look for the New American Media. I think for as little as $5 a month, you can help support us. Because trust me, it takes a few bucks to keep the lights on and kind of compensate for all the thousands of hours I've lost over the past 12, 13 years researching stories to try to deliver the important ones to you in a timely manner. So please do that. So anyway, Los Angeles Times imploding, Paramount Global, another wave of layoffs. Paramount is the company parent company of CBS. NBC is shrinking as well, Blake. Without reading this whole article, of course, they get into Sports Illustrated. we could buzz past this because we got a few more to get to. But did you have any other things you wanted to add to this?
Not specifically on this, but I do want to address. Yeah, there's going to be more of that happening, and they absolutely deserve
BuzzFeed. I'm sorry, BuzzFeed was another big one. It's not mentioned in this article, but BuzzFeed News, they've lost. I think they've essentially shut down as well.
Yeah, so did Vice and Think Progress. There's been a few over the last few years, so it's good to see. But I want to kind of address something for Jocelyn saying here. Americans won't do anything. Zero protests. Why would they face consequences? And I do want to put this also with the border coming on. I think there is going to be kind of a pushback here. We have trucker convoys to take our border back, being organized February 3rd, so just another week or so from now.
And where's that going to be? Down in Texas, I guess?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. TakeOurBorderback.com.
You want to go down there?
Assembly, watch out. What? It's in 3 spots. It's in. Hold on. What, Brian?
You want to go down there and cover it?
I don't know. Maybe I could make it to Eagles Pass.
We'll talk offline.
I'll think about it. That's a little bit. I don't know if I can do that, but I would if I could. It's Tucson, Arizona, San Diego. So there's 3 different areas. Brian, you gonna go? Just calling up truckers, bikers, law enforcement, veterans, military, elected officials, business owners, ranchers, and freedom-loving Americans. I wonder if somebody could pay all my expenses, I will certainly go down there. But no, I'm not taking a road trip down there. I would love to if it was as it develops. I mean, that's going to be the first one. So there could be more of this, and it's time for America. We're beyond the wake up call. It's time. So this is going to be a big fight. It's like the Alamo. So we'll see.
Yeah, the basement at the Alamo. That's what
get Pee Wee's fight somewhere in there.
All right. Let's go into the lightning round ish. Blake, agree or disagree that Nikki Haley supporters? Thank you for the comment, Jocelyn. As always.
Sorry.
The Nude American Media. Thank you, Kenneth. Hey, you guys subscribe to the New American Media OnlyFans. Oh, I should start a New American Media OnlyFans.
Well, there you go. Well, speaking of OnlyFans, we have those Taylor Swift.
I know you're dying to get to this one. Fine.
All right. Wait, well, no, it's not. Look, I've only got like 10 minutes, so we've got to buzz through anyway. So Nikki.
Well, Haley, I was on Nikki Haley, but we can.
That's fine. Yeah, let's knock this one out. Let's get it quick because I don't have all day, Brian.
Go ahead, Blake. Nikki Haley supporters should be banned from MAGA. Agree or disagree?
I am going to agree. And we covered this.
Blake, if you don't have all day, you don't need to be putting the Nude American Media taking me off. I was very specifically chugging along, and you took us off on a detour and blamed me for it. So come on, work with me here.
Right. Well, we did a show on Tuesday, Toxically Masculine Tuesday, talking about whether we should welcome the Ron DeSantis turncoats. And I think, yes, most of them. I think they're probably good people. They're more Make America Great Again. And they just saw Ron DeSantis as a more appealing candidate or more electable person. And I get that. And he's a great governor. But I think we're better working together on a common interest. And Ron DeSantis did endorse Trump, and he's also a potentially great candidate for attorney general. So I think we're stronger together. I don't think we have to just be the purest MAGA 45 cult or 47 or what have you. But with the Nikki Haley people,
Governor Blake, is he definitely done as governor? Is he termed out? Do we know? Is he not returning? Does he want to be attorney general?
I'm sure he could be. Yeah, why not?
Every place is different. I know Mike DeWine in Ohio is termed out. He can't serve another term. So I'm not entirely familiar.
Yeah. So he probably is going to be termed out. So it's time for him to that'd be great, attorney general. So he should take that one if it's offered. He was willing to take president. He's willing to go serve his country. That would be a really great position for him, even bigger than governor of Florida. But with the Nikki Haley people, though, I think these are all bad news people. They're either too stupid to understand how the system works, they're too corrupt, they're just mindless cult followers of Fox News or the GOP, or they're blatantly corrupt. So Nikki Haley's bad news. And Donald Trump is calling her out and saying, no, those people are basically they don't exist. They're persona non grata. They're not welcome. They're not part of the MAGA. They're snakes, and they have no place in the that movement. They're the left. They are what's left of the old guard, of the old GOP, the old neocons.
I would just push back a little bit and say I think there's several people that just think Trump's skeevy and they bought into the fake rape allegations.
That's fine. Go for Vivek or go for Ronnie D. But if you're going for Nikki Haley, no.
But she's the only one left. She's the only non-Trump vote in the GOP. They will vote against Biden. But as you saw, only 30% of her votes, you know, if you're filing the exit polling, only 30% of the people that voted for Haley were Republicans in the first damn place. But those people are still going to be needed to vote against Biden or Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama.
Would they though? I don't know. I don't trust.
They're
any
not
of the
voting
Haley
Democrat
people.
They're not going to vote Democrat. I don't think we're going to need half of
like the Never Trumpers. Who did they vote for in 2016?
Okay, well maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know how somebody could say, well, I lean conservative or libertarian or Republican, but you know, that guy's not good. I like Democrats now. Like said no sane person.
How can you seriously vote for or support Nikki Haley and then you're gonna all of a sudden go for Trump? I don't know.
Well, Jocelyn's right here. She says maybe Nimrod is staying in the race because they think Soros is going to take out the other guy on the ticket. That's the only reason that any of these people are in it, of course. And it's disgusting. It's awful. So anyway, we'll see. Nikki Haley, I guess Nevada's next, right? And then South Carolina, then she should get out.
Hopefully. If she can't make a good showing in South Carolina, it's over.
She just seems so delusional where she was governor.
Yeah.
Acting like she won the race like both times. And it's like you came in third and then you came in second. Like, congrats on coming in last.
Yeah, 70% of your voters were like undeclared. They weren't even real Republicans.
Yeah, they were all Democrats. Okay. Anything else to add on that before Elon?
What else? We got 3 more stories left, right?
Can we trust Elon Musk and his X Everything app? Agree or disagree? Or we can trust Elon Musk and his X Everything app. Blake, agree or disagree?
I'm afraid to talk about the AI thing with Taylor Swift.
It has nothing to do with the Jewish state. I'm not trying to run the clock on it. Fine, hold on Elon.
No, that's all good. Well, it's all good. Let's
go to the AI news.
You brought it up.
I want to see
here it is. This is right. Elon Musk. That's right, because he met with little Benny Boy Shapiro. He even did a big interview with him.
Oh, Elon did, yeah.
Yeah, he was, crying at the the Auschwitz thing. Yes, Benny was under fire, for all of the Israel support for being an Israel firster, and then now he's turned the tables. He's the victim now because he's there in Auschwitz crying, and he's got Elon Musk with him. How does that work? That's kind of really.
I got a question.
Of that. But
I don't. Yeah. I saw the picture that you put on the thumbnail last time, and I don't fully understand. Maybe you understand. Maybe a commenter does. What is with the circle that they put on their head? Is it like going to a Dodgers game, and whether you're a fan or not, you should wear a Dodgers hat? Is that what that is? That like this is our team, so I'm going to wear it's a yarmulke or a beanie.
I think it's a yarmulke, but I don't know exactly the spelling or the pronunciations, or I might have it wrong. And I mean no disrespect to Judaism.
Yeah, I don't know the custom. Like why? Because if that's not your religion, why are you participating? Like, because I believe that's I don't know.
He wears it on the show all the time. Ben Shapiro.
No, I'm talking about Elon Musk.
At the time, he's got that on.
I'm talking about Elon Musk. I didn't know why
he's an aspirational Jew, as he's saying, and he was there in Auschwitz, which is great. Yeah, I mean, it was just like a weird PR stunt, and like to protect Ben Shapiro. Like how much money and influence does that guy have? That's crazy. So I'm very skeptical of that. I'm very disappointed to see that. But it was also what I was kind of really getting at here is that Elon Musk is talking about X as being the everything app. So it's starting out with by being Twitter, replacing Twitter, but then it's going to go to other things as well. It's going to be like your banking. I forget exactly all the things that it's going to encompass, but it wants to replace. Yeah, so you show up in your phone instead of having 50 different apps or 100 different apps, depending on what you got on there. Maybe you just have one X, the everything app. You'll have your X phone. You'll have your Starlink satellite. Well, I've already got Starlink, so
I'll tell you that sounds a little New World Order-y for me. A little no choices for me.
Yeah, it absolutely does. So. the everything app. He's excited to announce. So I was kind of trolling, and I just said, brought to you by our Elohim overlords, keeping track of everything you do. Soon they'll put a chip in you too, like Neuralink. It's for the greatest reality show in the galaxy. So it's kind of like we're like zoo animals here on the earth, and we're being watched by the Anunnaki or the Elohim, which are the gods, plural, of the old Judaic texts. Am I pronouncing this right? Jewish religion, the Torah, the Talmud, goes into the Elohim, which might be like our space alien overlord gods, maybe created us or play along with us. They're watching us and they're using technology against us. And Elon, he seems like it's weird. I was gonna pull up that interview, which I only saw a few pieces of, but it was interesting. He keeps talking about his love for humanity. It's kind of, I don't know if I'm sure if I believe it or not. I really want to like Elon. I'm also deeply skeptical too.
I'm deeply skeptical. I appreciate where we're at. I appreciate the wins that we've had, but my God, like I said earlier, taking a nibble off of the hook. You take a nibble, then you're hooked. I wonder if it's a little too good. So I'm deeply skeptical, and I will raise my hand and say thank you for all of the tremendous wins we've had. Because like I said, Google wouldn't even show me that damn story, but the X search engine would. Previous X under Fed ownership would not show you that story about the ability to hack the election in front of a judge in Georgia. So yeah, I did it all for the Anunnaki. Okay, Blake, let's get to your last story or your second. Do you have any time left or no? We can do this.
I got like 3 minutes and we got 2 stories. So I'll just show, because this was on X. It was trending. You didn't see it, but maybe it's just me. But people have customized experiences with X as well. It kind of tries to, you're probably not going to get Minnesota Vikings stuff, but you are going to get Cleveland Browns stuff. And then just depending on what you look up, you're going to get more of that. In the
Blake gets nudie pictures of girls.
No, actually, I do not get the nudie pictures of girls, but I did see that Taylor Swift AI was trending, and there are sort of nudie pics, but they actually pulled them down on.
What?
Yeah, they showed them because it was offensive, right? Or I think the Taylor Swift people were getting upset because they showed Taylor Swift with Jason Kelsey, and she has like some very revealing AI pics. What they're able to do with it. Oops, I just lost my let's see if I pull up.
Did you lose it or did they shut it down, Blake?
They shut it down. One of the main threads that I saw that did have it. This is my favorite one.
Let's see her toothpick.
This Taylor Swift fans are absolutely furious over the recent Taylor Swift AI photos that are trending, and I promise you this is one of the PG ones. The images that are going viral are unreal, with some even depicting the pop star having an orgy with the NFL. Well, it's actually the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not the Redskins, as he's saying. But this is one.
It really doesn't look like either of them, by the way.
Well, it kind of looks like Taylor Swift, but that doesn't look like Jason Kelsey. But
who's the third one?
I thought it was hilarious. There's a whole bunch of them, but
who's the third one in that room, Blake?
What's that?
Who's the third one in that room?
I don't know whose kid that is.
And by the way, Highly Suspect wrote a song about that exact scenario that you're looking at. You should look up. It's called 16. It's an amazing song by Highly Suspect.
Yeah, so I don't know how many other ones I can show. I mean, I'll show this one as well.
Oh, whoa!
It's not technically. It's not really. It's more PG-13, right? It's not R-rated.
There is a thong there, right? There's a thong.
Well, there's definitely a thong there. Yeah, there's no nudity. But
see, that looks like Taylor Swift.
They don't actually show nudity, but there's some that are very, very close. So I'll be careful about that. And yes, they did. They showed some pretty salacious stuff on Twitter, which you can show pornography on there, but I don't want to show it on YouTube or Rumble or anything like that. So, but yeah, this is basically what it is. So should these AI pictures, should they be banned? Are they too offensive?
I don't know, but I bet you Jon Stewart would put it on his new Daily Show, right?
It's possible. Yeah, they could show this on TV if they really wanted to. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much the last story we've got, is whether the Jon Stewart will resurrect the dying Daily Show. So I haven't tuned in years. It's awful.
I haven't seen it 10 years since that very unfunny Trevor Noah took over. Very unfunny.
Yeah, he's really doesn't add anything to it. I mean, it's just getting a fraction of the ratings that it used to. I rarely see it trending. There's nothing really happening there.
Right.
It's a bunch of woke activist crap. It's
lame.
Awful. It's unwatchable.
Yeah.
And they're gonna bring Jon Stewart back just for Mondays. So it's gonna be like, Jay Leno hosting the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. They're going to give Johnny a day off on Monday, let Jay run it, and that's going to be with Jon Stewart. So I'm happy to see him back and to see what he does. I think he's been one of the good guys. He's been highly influential for me, even doing these kind of shows, or getting going public with this sorts of information and covering the news. So I'm a big fan of Jon, and I look forward to this. The Daily Show needs some. Yeah, he's a good voice to add, and if he does a bad job, we can always roast him on Twitter. So there you go.
That's true. Yeah, I just hope he goes 50-50 at both sides. The world doesn't need another Jimmy Kimmel, a bitter, angry orange man bad hack. That's not humor. It's so overplayed. That kid belongs to Chris Jones. Yeah, you got to listen to the Highly Suspect song called 16. It's about that literal situation in every aspect. The kid comes out and looks nothing like him, and it does look like Kirk Cousins. It didn't look like Kelsey.
More than Kelsey, yeah. But I see the smile is just so fun. I love it.
Love it. All right. Only on Monday night. So pull audience from Gutfeld. Is he?
Maybe Gutfeld is crushing everybody.
Is he only on Mondays though, or just what does that have to do with the Monday part? But
but I mean, maybe they'll go in that trend because the late night shows are unwatchable, and the Gutfeld show is really well done. So
yeah, it is.
They're crushing them in the ratings.
Is Trevor Noah going to do Tuesday through Friday?
Well, I don't think they do Fridays, so he'll just do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then I guess.
So he's not gone. I was happy he was gone.
I don't know.
I'm not a
I
fan.
thought he was going to step down. I thought he was going to go.
Well, maybe he already did go. That's how irrelevant the Daily Show has been. You and I, who used to watch it religiously, have no idea what's going on at that franchise because it's that unwatchable and boring. So. Yeah, I don't know. I'll check it out, but if it's no good, if it's just stupid orange man Trump derangement syndrome bashing, I'm out. Yeah, I don't need any more of that crap. That's everywhere. So
I hear that. But
all right, Blake, it's about time for you to bounce.
Thanks so much, everybody. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Brian. Got to run.
Tell people where to find you real quick.
thenextlevelnews.com and Twitter at TV's Blake Walley, as long as I'm still there. All right.
Yeah, as long as I'm still there. Oh yeah, because you took it to him today.
Elon. And Benny Boy, one of my nemesis.
You tried to drag the two people you're not allowed to drag and the one topic you're not allowed to discuss. If you want to know who's in charge, simply pay attention to the topic you shall not discuss. So, okay, Blake, to be continued. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you again soon, pal.
Sounds good. All right, bye, everybody.
Later. And I want to thank you all for participating in today's program. That was a good one. I like that. There was a lot of really important stories today. A lot of important stories to cover. Dreamer put up there the question, but would he forgive past sins as Attorney General? That concerns me. He being Ron DeSantis. I mean, what sins? I mean, like the MAGA movement disliking him because he seemed disloyal. What are you trying to run against Trump when all the attorney generals are trying to attack him? You need to circle the wagons and protect him. Well, I mean, if that's the past sin you're talking about, look, the time for infighting and bickering is over. The time to laser focus and destroy every Democrat campaign across the country to save it from the traitors. Game on. Jump on the team. But you're not head coach. You're not general manager. You're not quarterback. We'll put you at several different positions, but you're not in charge here, okay? So I think he'll be fine. And I think he'd make an excellent attorney general because he has a deep background in law, which is what we would need. Justin says, trust no one, not even trusting yourself. Trust no one, not even no one. Elon Musk. Oh, there's a quote that Beck says all the time. What is it? Let's see. Let me see if I can pull it up. From Thomas Jefferson. Question with boldness. I used to have this. I'll close my eyes. I question with boldness even the existence of God. Okay, my eyes are open again. Because if there be one, he must more approve the homage of reason than that of blindfolded fear. So you should question with boldness even the existence of God. Because if there is God, he'd probably much rather approve you having reason than blindfolded fear. Now, I did see a Republican conservative, what's her name? A blonde girl. I don't know. I don't have her name committed, but she's on Instagram, and I scrolled past, and it was a Netflix show talking about Lucifer being cast out of the heavens and how offering Eve knowledge, led to the original sin. And it's that whole topic again, question with boldness, even the existence of God. Well, the question I've always had, and feel free to type it below or bring it up at the next show. When is knowledge a bad thing? Isn't knowledge a good thing? Isn't knowledge always a good thing? Would you want to have, like Blake talked about, the Elohim, the beings from the heavens descending in chariots of fire from the skies, stuff that's been written about in every major holy book on every continent since time immemorial? It's almost as if something's occurring. Aren't we supposed to question with boldness and gather information, collect knowledge? Oh, well, Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, so humanity's natural sinners. Like, if there were a good God, that sounds like a James Brown. Good God. If there were a good God, it seems like that God would want you to have knowledge. But the way it's like kind of put together, it's like, no, you will bow before me and you will not have knowledge and I will rule over you. And just to make sure, I want you to kill your firstborn kid. And you're like, what? This sounds like the most abusive, toxic behavior imaginable. Of course, you get into the Old Testament versus New Testament. Is this the Judeo part of Judeo-Christian, the Old Testament, New Testament, the Jesus component? But yeah, that's always a question. I've always pondered the question. I've questioned with boldness. How is having knowledge a bad thing? Unless you're trying to, what was the bad thing in, most of the globe until recent times when the United States, by the way, is this thing on? Tap, tap, tap. The United States banned slavery and had a bloody civil war, in part to stop it. It was also about states versus federal rights. And of course, the result led to the Emancipation Proclamation. The United States at the forefront of banning slavery. But what was the one thing that slaves were not supposed to acquire and accumulate? Knowledge. You know why? Because knowledge is power. And what do you want your slaves to have? As little knowledge and power as possible. What does George Carlin say in his act? One of his most famous soliloquies, one of his most famous jokes. And some of these good comedians, they're less jokes and more just kind of a positing of the human condition. But how does he phrase that? See, now I started thinking about the one where he said, it's one big club and you and I aren't in it. Well, it's the one where Carlin talks about they want I'm just going to pull it up. I know what the quote is. George Carlin. Because I could butcher it, but he says it so well. All right, let's see here. Governments don't want a population capable of critical thinking. They want obedient workers. People just smart enough to run the machines, dumb enough to passively accept their situation. Now, if you read some of these texts, such a tough word to say, texts, talking about the Anunnaki coming down, beings from the heaven descending from the clouds in chariots of fire. South Africa, to toil in the mines so that they could acquire gold. Zachariah Sitchin talked about that on the, the 12th Planet, his book? 12th Planet, I think. That the gods took what happened to be there, which was, Cro-Magnon man, early man, ape, some version of wherever the missing link kind of came through. And they spliced in their DNA so that they could take a Cro-Magnon man, an ape, a monkey, missing link kind of character. It wasn't, and they added their own DNA so that they could be smart enough to work the machines, but too dumb to question, why am I working for you? Why do I have to do what you tell me to do? Who says I owe you a GD thing? But, that's exactly what George Carlin's talking about there. So yeah, questioning everything with boldness. That's such a good quote, Jocelyn. It reminds me, and I quote this all the time. It kind of originally came out as a bit of a gaffe, kind of a goofy, a goofy quote from Donald Rumsfeld in the George W. Bush era. It was, there are known unknowns and there are unknown unknowns. And I quote it a lot because I think it's very relevant. Have you ever wanted to do a home improvement project and you go, I know how to work the machines. I can cut wood. I can nail. I can staple gun. I can screw it. Like I can do stuff. I can mud the wall. I can paint. I can tape. Like I can do things. But what if I do something wrong? That would be an unknown unknown. Now, if they're known unknowns, you say, well, which type of paint is most likely to stick to stucco on an outdoor setting? Okay, well, it's got to be this kind of that. There's acrylic, there's oil-based, there's water-based, there's this, there's that. There's, Four Seasons paint. There's a million applications. Well, you need a primer first. Well, I didn't know I needed a primer. This says all-in-one. Yeah, it says all-in-one, but it doesn't mean in this application in region 3 of the climate, it's too humid outside. You can't use that product. Everybody knows that. It's like, no, not everybody knows that. An expert knows that. I would not have that information. So I would not know to ask that specific question. So that would be my unknown unknown. So, I mean, I've stopped myself from doing 1,000 projects because I don't want to screw something up. There was a period of time where I was that kid. What type of kid, you say? I'll tell you what type of kid. The type of kid that would take things apart because I loved seeing how things worked. Flowbots have a song, Handlebars. He sings, I can take apart the remote control and I can almost put it back together. I can tie a knot in a cherry stem. I can tell you about Leif Erikson. I know all the words to De Colores and I'm proud to be an American. Anyway, great song, great video about two friends going separate ways. One leads the revolution for freedom and the other goes up to become that slimeball trying to bribe Kari Lake. And they clash and fight at the end. It's an awesome video. It's way deeper than Handlebars. But it's, I can ride my bike with no handlebars, no handlebars. Because it's like two kids, like buddies, trying to one-up each other. Look at me, look at me. Anyway. But yeah, this quote is interesting. And I'm wondering, Jocelyn, if this is verbatim. Trust no one, not even yourself, trusting yourself. Trust no one, not even no one. I want to put that on a hat or something. That's a great quote. Thank you, Jocelyn. Jocelyn continues, the 3 best words after I love you is, I trust you. Yeah, trust. That's an interesting thing. And I think that's where the lying legacy media has really fallen. I think the lying legacy media has fallen because it's that quote about reputation. It takes you an entire lifetime to build your reputation, and you can burn it down in a second. One awful decision and your entire reputation's done. One bad choice. But it takes you year after year. I mean, I don't know how many of you, quick question for those still following, and if you have the access to type, how long have you been aware that I exist, that the New American Media exists, that the Agree to Disagree show exists? If you can type it in the comments, how long have you known that Brian Engelman, the Agree to Disagree show, the New American Media exists? Because I've been doing this stuff 13 years, every day putting out content, trying to discover what's actually happening, trying to highlight stories that are not receiving enough attention, trying to correct misinformation and disinformation, trying to make sure that liars who are trying to harm people and harm the country and harm the planet are being exposed so that we can have better outcomes for as many people as humanly possible. Day by day, week by week, year by year, I keep trying to earn. Imagine it as a big box of Legos. Every day I put another Lego piece onto the, I'm building a structure on the floor. The whole basement table is laid out with Legos. And every day I put one more Lego piece on. Every single day. And that's the trust. Jocelyn says the 3 best words after I love you is I trust you. Well, we're trying to earn that trust. We're doing our best. Rick Norman types in here. Thank you so much. I love the interactive component of this. It really is like my favorite part. I'm addicted to memes. I saw a meme that said, maybe I'm not addicted to memes. Maybe the memes are addicted to me. I love that one. But that's why I want you to follow us in all the platforms. Because if you're not in the Facebook group, you need to be. TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. Quotation marks, TNAM, all in capital, TNAM apostrophe S, The Agree to Disagree Show. Quotation marks. Because, I'm sharing content in the Agree to Disagree Show nonstop. All the memes. I don't get to give you the memes here. I could probably go into but I just don't. This show's for something different. I put different stuff out on Twitter, X. I put different stuff out on Instagram. Like, everything gives you the New American Media, but just different components of it. But I love this part of where I get to talk to you directly. Rick Norman answers the question I just asked, as LeBron James would say. Axed. Rick Norman says, Brian, about 6 months. I'm sorry, and I wish I knew before. No. Hey. Okay, so first off, thank you. Thank you for answering the question. Second of all, don't say you're sorry. I know you didn't even really mean it, but I'm just glad you found us today. That's why it's important to team up with people like Blake Walley. I'm probably at the point where I'm going to start booking guests again. If you've only known me, excuse me, if you've only known me, that's a tough thing to say. If you've only known me, try to say that out loud real quick. If you've only known me, fast. If you've only known me for 6 months, maybe you're not aware of the stuff that's on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. I've had interesting conversations with a lot of people you will recognize. A lot of people you will recognize. And I think I'm about ready to start collaborating with them again. I just really wanted to work the kinks out of the show and get it back and decide that I do want to be in this again. I never really left, but I've changed the amount of time and energy that I put into the New American Media just for reasons. When Facebook takes your account down. And I fully expect that to happen again, which is why we're on Telegram. If you don't know what Telegram is, if you don't need another app, this is me asking you to just download Telegram. Do it on your computer or your phone. And if you do, we are at TNAM, TNAM for the New American Media, and TNAM Chat, because that's our backup for Facebook. We're going to use that as our backup for Facebook. YouTube has given us some strikes over some bullshit, over silly stuff. They did appeal my Jim Mars interview. You know Jim Mars from the Ancient Alien series, from his work with the JFK assassination. I had an interview with him right after a Coast to Coast AM panel in Los Angeles at the Conscious Life Expo. Had a great chat with Jim Mars. Gracious with his time, awesome character, cool voice. If you want to think about a Texas guy, like a real Texas guy with a real Texas voice, that was Jim Mars. Gracious with his time, brilliant guy. In passing, we mentioned pollutants and harm to the ecosystem in our bodies. And we mentioned the air, the water, the food, things that start with the letter V that we inject inside of ourselves. And because of that one word, they went back and tried to shut it down. I appealed it. And I went off in my appeal section. I'm like, try to tell me there's no adverse reactions to this. I said, we didn't even delve into the subject, but they removed another video where we talked with Dylan McDermott. And we had the interviewer ask the question, and he mentioned V's causing a certain condition that's been suspected. And his answer was this: I think we should question everything. Question with boldness, even the existence of V-related situations, adverse reactions. But YouTube deemed that to be too spicy. So they erased the effing interview with Dylan McDermott. So now I am going to have to re-upload it. Maybe mute out that couple of second part. I will. And I'm going to put it on Rumble. By the way, The other place I want you to know about is Odyssey. Odyssee. It's one of those 30 words that I always spell weirdly. It's like, is it double D? Oddyssee? No, it's just Odys. Anyway, Odyssey.com. It has backed up every video from the New American Media. We're close to 1,400 videos, or maybe we're past 1,400. I don't know. If we ever disappear on these major networks, the Facebooks and the YouTubes, find us on Rumble, find us on Odyssey, find us on Telegram. Instagram is Facebook, but we're there at the New American Media. But yeah, you've seen us, you've been aware of us for 6 months, and you wish you knew before. But hey, thank you for joining us today. Rick adds, man, I miss Jim Mars. Yeah, I've living in Los Angeles for so many years, I tried to go to as many events as possible and speak with the most interesting people that I could. And I always loved the George Norrie Coast to Coast AM panels. They had so many interesting characters. When is that? Is that coming up? That's usually like in February, I think. I know the NAMM show's this week. I'm normally at the NAMM show, but I think I'm sitting this one out. Anomaly asked me last year. He's like, yo, you coming? I'm like, I wasn't planning on it. Because I've gone a couple of times with him. And I was like, you know what? Forget it. Let's just book a flight and book a hotel. I'm in. So I went, and if you haven't seen that interview, we did like a 3 or 4 hour sit down with AJ. Check that video out. He was quasi anti-Trump, even though he wrote a song called "I Like Trump." Probably more pro DeSantis and pretty critical of President Trump's missteps, perhaps. But hey, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, I suppose. But yeah, I think we're really close to having these conversations and booking the big name guests again. So I hope you stick around and please just go back and check out some of our old videos. Let some of our old videos play in the background on a random device. Like, we need to boost our numbers minutes so that we can monetize the channel again. We were monetized like when we interviewed John McAfee, former libertarian presidential candidate, McAfee antivirus, famously got the whacked tattoo and then died in a Spanish prison after being framed for murder. And where was he at? Bali or something down in Central America, South America, Costa Rica, something like that. When we interviewed him, our channel was doing well. We were getting big names. We were cranking out content. We were starting to get that sweet advertising money. It was like, oh, this works. This is a formula that I could put more energy into. If I double and triple the content, we're going to double and triple, quadruple the results. So we doubled down, and that was when the PewDiePie, he put on a fake mustache and he raised his hand in a general direction in about a 2-second clip, just making fun of that character of 1930s Germany. And they deleted they stripped him of all his advertising revenue. He was one of the biggest ad revenue vacuums on YouTube at the time. And then they went after all independent content creators and said, nope, they called it the adpocalypse, because the powers that be at ABC, NBC, Universal, CBS, ESPN, Disney, they all said, we are losing our revenue. Like that report that we gave you earlier about Time Magazine and Paramount and BuzzFeed, they're all Los Angeles Times. They're all laying people off. Nobody's consuming their content anymore. Well, they did that on YouTube and they stole our revenue. So anyway, over the course of the several years, we reevaluated how much time we're going to put in, and what's the point? Facebook deletes our company page with no cause, no opportunity to remedy any alleged issue. What's the point? YouTube takes away your monetization. It's like, I put in thousands of hours into this thing. Like, this is keeping me from earning more money on other places. I need to recoup that here because, life has bills. Not everybody has an unlimited supply of gold coins to swim in like Scrooge McDuck. And so when you don't have a reliable business partner to build a foundation of Legos upon, it's like, well, I'm just not going to build Legos. And I did what I did, and the New American Media continued in the groups and other places on the side. But I mean, we're back in a way that I'm more happy with where we are now. And the place I never tell you to go to is thenewamericanmedia.com. If the world implodes, if all social media disappears, just remember thenewamericanmedia.com. I really haven't updated it in I don't remember the last time I did. probably with our J6 coverage, but not all of our J6 coverage. So, I mean, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I need to update that site. And if everything else implodes, find us at thenewamericanmedia.com. That'll be our home base. But, you know, I've pledged. Here, let me get you this quote. Oh, well, I guess pledge our lives, our liberty, our sacred honor. Here, what's that quote? Yeah, we meet. And for the support of this declaration, I started off. Here we go. We'll wrap it up with this. I started the show. Oh, Dreamer Ultra says he's been aware of myself and the New American Media and the Agree to Disagree show since I went on Blake's channel. Well, thank you so much, Dreamer. It's been good connecting with all you guys. I love how you contribute to the show. Like it's like I said, it really is my favorite part. The collaborative process is the best. And Blake wants to do a tight show, and we can't market this, and not enough return on investment of our time. And like, he makes good points, but there's ways to do shorts. We've been doing more short 60-second video clips on the YouTube channel, you know, and we're getting many thousands of views on those, just kind of starting to get back into that groove. But we're still not monetized. So if there's anything you guys can do to just click on anything on the YouTube channel and just let a 2-hour interview play, either watch it or just play it on the background. Just let it play on a laptop that's open. Go do some laundry. But really, I mean, there's so many good interviews. Let some of the old content play. Listen to some of these old guests. Check out some of these old shows, because we need to boost our views by, we're about 30% of where we need to be. I think we need to get to 3,000 minutes. I forget how it goes. We're at like 8,000. We need 30,000. So we're like a third of the way. We're missing 65% of the viewership minutes that we need. So we meet criteria 1, we meet criteria 2, but then they added these other things. So you need like 2 million minutes of shorts that have been watched. 2 million minutes of shorts. That's a lot of minutes. So the one that's within striking distance is your content getting like 30,000. Anyway, just find some old content if you would. I'd greatly appreciate that, especially since, you know, like Dreamer, he's only, you know, been aware of what we do since March of last year, March, April, May of last year. You know, 2/3 of a year, 3/4 of a year. That's cool, because brother, sister, we've been doing this for a long time. And I think you'll enjoy it if you scroll back. We've been punching above our weight this whole time. And I'm promising you, once I'm able to start booking some of these big name guests again, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I really do. So Rick says, thank you. He says, sounds like a great plan, Brian. Will do. And I appreciate that. But I will wrap up today's show with this. I started it off reading about the Constitution because that Greg Abbott clip just reminded me about when in the course of human events, blah, 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 blah. Like, you got to kind of break off from the shackles of where you are. The quote is, and for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Do you know the honor cheers? I'm not going to do that here. It's a little risque. Here's to honor. I do say it all the time. It's kind of funny, but it's a little blue. If you know the honor cheers, it's kind of funny. But yeah, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Because look, if we don't hang together, we're assuredly going to hang separately. I think that's a Ben Franklin quote. A lot of these old quotes, they kind of blur together. Is it Franklin? Is it Jefferson? Was it Madison? Was it Hamilton? I don't know. Some of these might be misattributed, but the concept remains, folks. If we want to have a decent planet, to have a decent city, a decent state, and a decent country, we got to work together. We need to demand higher. We need to demand better results, better policies, more freedom, more liberty, maybe more of a purchasing power from our damn dollar that keep devaluing. But we need to hang together and pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. So I want to thank you all for watching today. This has been the Thursday, January 25th, 2024 episode of the Agree to Disagree show here on the New American Media. Because the old American media has failed you, make sure you're following Blake. He's on X at TV's Blake Walley and thenextlevelnews.com. Find the Agree to Disagree show and the New American Media in every place possible. And we'll be back on Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time for another episode. Just want to say I appreciate you. I love you. Have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.